go.
Kamen Rider Kabuto on the PS2. So I want to start this review by being as honest as possible. Kamen Rider Kabuto is my favourite Kamen Rider series. It was the first series that I watched in full, and that was while it was airing. Well, as fast as the fan-subbing group at the time could get it out, which varied from about a few days to maybe a week after airing. With that being said, I was very hyped at the idea of a game based on the series that I loved, and I'll be honest, I'm also currently rewatching it in English dubbed. I don't know if that made sense how I phrased that, but I'm currently rewatching an English dubbed version of it. I just want to also apologise as well for the footage in this. I decided to capture the gameplay via emulation rather than my normal route, which would be hooking a PS3 up to a splitter that removes HDCP and then my Elgato. And when I captured it via the emulator, the footage became corrupt, and I ended up spending about 12 hours trying to find a way to salvage the footage that I captured, because I didn't want to go through setting up the awkward cable mess. I did salvage it, but it somehow became cropped, so it's missing like the health bars and some of the screen at the top and at the sides. I really should have just set it up as I normally would have, but I'm too lazy to go back and recapture it, so here you go, what I could capture. So this wasn't my first Rider game, but it is one that I have high nostalgia for. Mostly because I did play the game a lot back then when it first released. Now up until this point, the main Rider games from the PS1 to PS2 era, which were just series based, so like you've got Kuga, Ryuki, Blade, Fives, Hibiki, they were all one-on-one fighters. As far as I'm aware anyway, I've not played the Hibiki game, and I don't really intend to because I don't really like Hibiki. So I don't know if it uses the same engine or if that was on a 1v1 fighter like the rest of them. But as far as I know, this game broke that trend. It was more of a brawl than a one-on-one fighter. I loved that, because it was different. And with it being based on Kabuto, it also meant there was quite a few riders to choose from. Not as many as Ryuki, but still quite a few. The game only released in Japan, and it was, I think, November 30th, 2006, which was 3 months after the movie aired in theatres, and just after episode 42 aired. Now the reason I'm pointing that out is because by this point all riders had been introduced in the series or movie, so there was no one that was debuting in the game. The director's cut version I think was either May or January of 2007, I'm leaning more towards May. Now in the game it includes all riders from the series, the movie, and even the Hyper Battle video special. And with cheats you can unlock the other characters, which is for the Hyper Battle video special was Hyper Gatack. The other cheats will unlock Hyper Kabuto and Dark Kabuto. If I remember, I'll put the cheats in the description so you can enter them and unlock them. Now all the riders have their masked and rider form. Well, that's if the rider had masked form in the series or movie, because the 3 movie riders didn't, they just had rider forms. And also Kick and Punch Hopper didn't have masked forms, just rider forms. Now there are various modes in the game, the story mode being called Buster mode, which is the first option in the menu, and that breaks down into 3 further paths. You've got Kabuto's path, Rider's path and Worm's path. Now the Kabuto path telling a story with some liberties as Kabuto, because it's sort of like a mishmash of the series and the movie, since they were in like different timelines or universes. Rider path takes you through a series of rider battles that the other riders on the show had. Some of them are pretty faithful to the TV series. And then there's the Worms path, which again you play as various worms. And if you haven't figured that out, worms are the name of the monsters or aliens from the TV show movie. There was also a subspecies of worms called native, but I'm not going to go on that in this video. Now the second option on there is like a 2-player battle mode, which I rarely use. You play it alone or as 2 player, and it works as like a secondary story mode. Then there's 2-player free battle mode, where you again play alone or with a friend, fight against a computer. 2-player Tyson mode, which is just your regular versus mode, so 1 player versus 2 player. And there's a 2-player survival mode again, play alone or with a friend, and there's lots of fights, and it has drops on the ground to heal like your health and things like that. Now there's cinematic mode where you can watch clips that you unlock during the game. I've never used it, and I probably never will. And I believe the final option on the menu is options, which I've never used that, again, probably never will. Now the game itself is on a PS2 CD and not a DVD, so you can expect what you want from the quality of the game from that. Because that means the file size is going to be less than 700 megabytes of data, where obviously if it was a DVD it could have had like 4.2, or if it was a dual layer 7 point something gigabytes. So yeah, that really puts in perspective of how big the game really is. Now I picked up a legit copy for about £6, so that's probably about what, $11, $10 a few years back. When I originally played it back in the day, what I was nostalgic for was a burnt image where I was even sad enough to print the cover and everything off. But I really loved it that much that as soon as I got a chance to buy it, especially at such a cheap price, I did. Now you can pretty much complete the whole game in under 3 hours, so you can do it in one sitting. And I'd say it's only really replayable if you're a massive fan of the Kabuto series in general. I seem to find there's not really that many Kabuto fans out there. Like, I think people find the characters too arrogant, but it's my favourite, so fuck them. Now that brings me on to how I'm going to rate this game. So I'm going to rate it in 2 forms. So 1 as a massive Kabuto fan, and 2 as just a regular gamer. So if you're the massive Kabuto fan, I'll give this 6 out of 10, which may be quite shocking for how nostalgic I am for it. And my main reason for that rating is that it can be over with in such a short amount of time. Granted, it's better than the 1v1 games that came before it, but there's just not enough content to support a higher rating. It doesn't mean that I don't love the game, and it's certainly one of my favourites, but I know for a fact it's not going to be for everyone, and it's just really lacking so much content. So, rating as a regular gamer. Now, let's be honest again, I'm just going to give it a 2 out of 10 if you're a regular gamer. It's just a game to fill your collection and to maybe have one successful playthrough. It's a game designed to advertise toys and DVDs. It's not meant to break any molds. So it's just a 2 out of 10 if you're a regular gamer. Now if you don't want to buy this because you like what you've seen, or you're interested in Kabuto, or you just want to fill a gap in your collection, pricing wise it's going for about £20 to £60 on eBay right now. So maybe wait till the pandemic is over before buying it, if the price even drops again. I'm not even sure if the pandemic's put the price up. I know obviously shipping out of Japan is going to be a lot harder at the moment, so you might have to find like a more local seller to yourself, and that may be why the price is high. I don't know. But if the price doesn't drop, then find other means to play the game. Because let's be honest again, the game isn't produced anymore, and any sales of this game aren't going to the producers or game developers. So who gives a rat's ass if you get it by other means? I'm not going to help you find it, that's up to you. Google's your friend. But as mentioned earlier in this video, it's under 700 megabytes. In fact, when I played it via emulator by ripping my own CD, I got it down to about 300 megabytes ish. But yeah, if this has been helpful to you in any view, anyway, please like, subscribe, all that jazz, and thanks again for watching.